Welcome. Today I'll be talking about all of the fall season anime that I'm watching. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 total series, and I'll be talking about all of them. And first impressions, if it's a continuing series from the previous season, how it's going, the newest episodes. I don't really do that many episodic videos anymore because it's kind of a waste of time. So I'll discuss many of those here. I do want to start with a very specific series, so that would be where is it? Lupin the Third, Part 6. Now don't be intimidated. You don't need to watch the 1 million episodes that happened before this and the countless movies. It's like Dirty Pair. It's episodic. It doesn't have an ending. It'll probably never have an ending. The writer is already passed away and they're still doing it. If you watch Part 6, Episode 0, which aired last week, and Episode 1 that aired today, it'll give you an idea of what to expect. It's easy to follow. Now, right off the bat, what I like about this series is the writing and the dialogue. It has amazing dialogue. All the characters are interesting. They all have things that are very meaningful in the way that they talk. It's very enjoyable. Animation is great. Music is great. You get the classic intro. Outro is great. Episode 0 is amazing. It revolves around Jigen because the voice actor for Jigen had been there since the beginning of the series, way back in the 70s. This man is pushing almost 100 years old, and he did one more episode, which was episode 0, to sort of... It was like saying to the audience, he's saying goodbye to you, because in episode 1, they used a brand new voice actor. It's the same voice actor that plays Kiraku in Bleach, and the cat in Ori Tsushima. I think that this voice actor can pull it off, but of course you have fans that just stuck with the original voice actor and they're gonna be biased and they're not gonna like him. They'll be against him. I think it was a decent job. And I didn't point this out before, but I have never watched anything from Lupin. I have heard of the Castle of Cagliostro, however you pronounce that. I have not watched anything from Lupin, but luckily this is so easy to follow. As I said, such as Dirty Pair, I had no problem with it. So you have Jigen, who is reluctant to be a partner of Lupin. He hates modernization. You have Mine, who is Lupin's sort of love interest. You have Goemon, who is a samurai that can somehow slash a tank into pieces with a sword. You have Zanigata, a authoritative figure that is completely obsessed with capturing Lupin. Sherlock Holmes, of course, is one of the characters that's going to be the focus of Part 6. Then you have Lupin. Lupin is this gangster that's out there who his goal is to make a buck, carrying out these large heists, getting money, living a luxurious lifestyle with him and his comrades, eating good food, drinking good alcohol. He is all about that. He is slick. He is an expert at evading the police. Even if he gets caught, he tends to hide accessories in his attire to be able to escape. So he's this slick kind of this very slick and clever type of character that is able to make the impossible possible, if you could say. But easily, Lupin the Third Part 6 can become anime of the season, maybe of the year. It's just it's a high quality show. You have me, who has never watched Lupin, as I said. However, I was able to follow along with the story, and I love it. I love Lupin. I will definitely be checking out the older entries. I suppose we can go in order now, from the bottom up. Tesla note. So this series is known as a joke because of its CGI, but CGI aside, it's actually a solid story. Very good, likable characters. Luckily, Kuruma has an amazing voice actor that really nails his role. You have Botan. She's a great protagonist. Your typical has a tragic background and has been chosen to become this sort of ninja to save the world or something like that. They're part of a secret organization. Now Mickey. I think Mickey has not been there very much in the series, but when he has, he's this very sarcastic, kind of sadistic type of villain. From the little that I've seen, I like his character. I'll be looking forward to him. Unfortunately, Kyuhei's character I do not like at all. And Toriumi is voiced by Dr. Tenma, same voice actor. So this revolves around a secret organization that's going around, and there's these fragments that are causing these really weird events throughout the city. This series is very inspired by Nikola Tesla, an actual scientist who worked on a lot of very interesting inventions, who unfortunately passed away penniless and had his work confiscated by the government. This actually happened. This actually happened. So this series kind of tries to showcase what the consequences of this technology. And the cast are on the mission to try to restore the order from people who have bad intentions, who have acquired this technology. But it's a great show. It's funny. The chemistry behind Kuruma and Botan is hilarious. However, the CGI is just so bad that it has given it a really bad name. You have people that have only watched those very specific CGI parts. However, if you give it a chance, you would actually enjoy this. I enjoyed it. I was surprised. I watched this expecting to not like it at all. Yes, the CGI is terrible, as I've been saying. However, despite that, it was very enjoyable. I do look forward to watching more of Tesla, though, even though nobody's watching it at this point. Tacked Up Destiny is a series that is similar to Blue Reflection Ray or Scarlet Nexus. It is promoting a gacha game. People decided to check this one out because Madhouse and Mappa are involved with it. The animation is beautiful. It's beautiful, but the mistake that a lot of people make, even other anime YouTubers, is that good animation does not write a good story. If you think that a series is good solely based upon its animation, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you're being subjective, but you're not being objective. However, I have actually been enjoying this one. In the first episode, it kind of throws the viewer into a typical scenario that the main cast gets put into with the D2, those monsters that come out of nowhere. Episode 2 decides to go back in time and show you what brought upon the circumstances that brought upon episode 1. So it goes in the past. You have Cassette, who is a very cheery, happy-go-lucky type of individual who supports Tact with a sticky piano player, as I said before. Anna is there, but she does nothing really other than cook for them, look out for them. Her character is sort of like she feels that nobody really listens to her advice, her at all. She kind of just gets left in the dark. So she's a very unfortunate character. She's kind of been shafted aside for Tact and Cassette. Anyhow, in this series, music has been banned because these monsters tend to get summoned by it, and their weakness is music itself. Tact is a pianist, a very good one. However, he leads a very dirty lifestyle. Cassette, who is Anna's little sister, is there to sort of advise him, correct him, clean up after him. They have a surprisingly good chemistry, as revealed by episode 2. But I did get carried away from all the wholesome moments. They had a concerto where they played with the piano. Great scenes. He has some cute, really adorable animations on Cassette. I felt very pleased with the episode. I was very happy. But of course, they have to reveal what led to what made Cassette turn into what the viewer saw in episode 1. Thus, she gets killed off. It was very tragic. Tag got his arm destroyed. However, Cassette wears a crystal that allowed her to be reborn. It's not her though, it's the spirit in the crystal, I'm assuming, because there's a dramatic change in personality. Tag, his arm becomes a constant sacrifice to allow Cassette to have her powers. They go around this, so with the D2 around, Cassette kind of introduces herself that their mission is to defeat the D2, and Tact makes this determined and upset face that yes, this is my revenge. Thus, it's a very promising show. Madhouse and Mappa are actually really trying with this one. I'm surprised. I don't know where it'll go, but I am definitely enjoying it. I'm surprised that Cassette already has 630 favorites on my anime list. Not that opinions on my anime list matter. For the most part, they don't. The Akasup on White Sand. What can I say that I have not said already? So this series has become... its focus now is on Kukuru. So the aquarium failed. It had to close down. She is now working at another aquarium in marketing, which is not her expertise. She is not really sure what she's doing, but she does her best. Ultimately, she just makes a plan. However, her boss, which calls her Plankton, which I find very hilarious, it's hard to please. Never satisfied with what Kukuru decides to do. Pushes her around, chews her off, discards her as trash. Subsequently, poor Kukuru has to try to manage to make this job work. I'm not sure what this series is trying to say anymore. At first, it was very educational in terms of how to run an aquarium, how to take care of the animals. This is a borderline educational type of series. But now it's just Kukuru suffering that she doesn't like her job. So, this people who have never worked, this series will probably make them never want to have a job, because they'll think, oh, I'm gonna end up like Kukuru. Maybe not in an aquarium, but in a different type of profession. Luckily for Kukuru, Fuka is back, which provides emotional support. Kai is there, who provides his hands so she can punch them to feel better about herself. However, Kai does meet... No, not Kai. There is another person that works at the new aquarium, which I think it was yesterday's episode. This individual showed interest in Kai, Shimabokuro. So there seems to be, I could be wrong, but there seems to be a love triangle happening between Shimabokuro, Kai, and Kukuru. I don't really have much to say besides that. This isn't an anime that will be known for being amazing. That will be known for grabbing you by the neck and shaking you with epic storytelling and reveals. It's just something to just sit back, lay back, and just enjoy when you're just having your leisure time. Because of that, I don't rate it very high. It's okay. Nothing amazing. It's okay. I'm still waiting for that little boy to be relevant. They've been showing this little boy walking around with eating fish or whatnot, but 15 episodes in, they still have not revealed what his deal is. I mean, come on, why are they waiting so long? But decent series. It looks beautiful. I don't really like the opening and endings though. It seems to be rather weak in the music department. It's average. I borderline don't like this series, but it's slightly enjoyable. Shikizakura, good luck finding somebody that's watching this, because when this came out, there were crickets. At least in the West. I don't know the reception that it has in Japan. but they were crickets when this came out. It is all CGI, similar to the Duke of Destiny's made. It's a mecha series. It's about, the message here is, do not talk to women because it's always a trap when they start conversation. Because Kakeru has a friend, Nagatsu. They're sort of in the city, and that's when Uka comes in, who asks Kakeru for advice on how to find what she's going, because she does not know how to use a smartphone. And Nagatsu tells Kakeru, no, don't do it, don't fall for it, because when a woman talks to you, it's a trap. Kakeru, however, ignores that advice and decides to help Uka. And by the end of the episode, it was a trap after all. Yeah, the joke comes full circle. In this museum, Uka gets attacked by these monsters. Kakeru gets involved, tries to protect her. Consequently, well, not consequently, but fortunately for Uka, she has these comrades that help her out. Now, they don't care about Kakeru. They only help them because Uka was in trouble. Kakeru ends up meeting Ibara, who is this robot with a very over-the-edge type of personality. It's very hilarious how violently hostile the comments that this person makes. The voice actor does a very good job, even though it's kind of exaggerated. I did notice that all these voice actors are new to the industry, all of them. I guess this show has a very low budget, but it is enjoyable. It likes to throw a little twist at you here and there. For example, Kakeru saves Uka from falling into the ground when it breaks up, and once he pulls her up, he falls into it. And how at the end he thought he decided, he had this dream, you could say, of been wanting to be a hero. Turns out that Uka's comrades are essentially detaining him, and that's what led to him saying that, oh no, this really was a trap after all. The music sounded good. I remember the music was sounding really good. I think episode 2 came out today, but I wanted to make this video, so I'll just go off the impression of the first episode. It seems decent, but good luck finding anybody else that's watching it. Scarlet Nexus. By far. Okay, so the ASMR anime is the worst one. So, fortunately, Scarlet Nexus can now be second worst. This is a horrible anime. It is a terrible anime. I don't know what the staff are thinking, but this is just one of the worst series I've ever watched. If you watch my videos on Scarlet Nexus, I've broke it all down. There is nothing new I can say. I've said it all. This series is like 6 different sci-fi plots smashed together with the same cast. The main characters, Kasana and Yoito, they're not very bright. They're very annoying. They make horrible choices. I cannot stand the way that they think. So you think about, okay, so consider what the story is. It's a futuristic world. There are these things called others that are going around killing humans that kind of spawn randomly, so it seems. This group the military has deployed these kids that have these powers that revolve around their brains, like psychokinetic powers, and they're dispatched to take care of the others. Oh, but turns out that the government was turning people into others. Oh, but it turns out there's a separate faction that is trying to turn the others back into humans. Oh, but it turns out that there's actually time travel, and that Yuito, the main character, actually caused the end of the world. So he ends up ending his own life by offering himself to the others and gets smashed into pieces. Now, but Kasano, who was there because she has the red strings, now has to kill Yuito to save the humanity. So she goes back in the time and decides to not tell anybody what she saw. She decides to not explain herself properly. Even the characters tell Kasana. Is it Kasana or Kasano? It's actually bothering me. Okay, so Kasane. I was wrong. So Kasane, she does such a bad job that even the characters tell her, why aren't you properly explaining yourself? Why do you want to kill Yoito? And she finally says it. She finally says it. Now, we have a character that apparently is 2,000 years old and came from the moon because man went to the moon and now they're back for revenge. You have Kasane, who is all about her sister that got turned into an udder, wants to save her, but it doesn't matter because she's dead now. You have Arashi, who is a hacker. Arashi is the only likable character in the entire series. I don't like any character in the series except for Arashi. Hanabi has been so useless. I can't even. I thought Hanabi was Arashi for the longest time. You have Nazar, who has the plot. What do you call it? The plot ability of seeing the future. You have Kyoka. So here's the other thing. The main cast, they're trying to work together to stop the government. They also betray each other, and they split into two factions, and then those two factions each betray each other. It's laughable how bad the series is. The fights are often slideshows. Well, a lot of the fights tend to get done off screen. The animation is done very lazy like. Instead of showing actual detailed fighting, you just see bright lights that are supposed to be whatever the characters were supposed to be doing. You have Nagi, who is your typical main character's best friend becomes evil and tries to kill him, and he's dead now. His brain collapsed. He's out of here. Luca, what is even the point of Luca? Luca's just like this little boy that I don't understand what the point of. But his brother is this guy that is overly that he was over the edge to try to stop a certain part of the government, and he has this broken power of teleportation. See, the powers aren't even they're not executed well, and they're so broken. All the powers seem like plot devices. Now, put it together with a terrible opening, a terrible second opening, a terrible first and second ending, terrible music. This series is just so bad. But it's so bad that it's good. Like, I want to see how this ends. Because there are, 10 episodes left? And it's so much of a train wreck. It has introduced so many different types of plots into its story. I just can't wait to see how this gets worse and worse and worse. This is like the Jiran of the fall season. It's bad, but you're just so amused by how bad it is and how it's just a train wreck. And of course, Arashi is the third most popular character because she's the only good character. Of course, the main characters always get more users, but it's mindless. Nobody cares about mindless ratings. Arashi is the best character. So that's Scarlet Nexus. Jesus, what a train wreck of anime. Sakugan easily has potential to be anime of the season. It's 2 episodes in. It's very good. I love this series. It's one of the mecha. There's a lot of mecha this season, which is very unusual. So this revolves around the father-daughter dynamic, which is Gagumber and Memempu. Memempu wants to be a mark. Is that what it was? A marker? I forgot what the name was. So they live in this rundown city. Now the music is very good. This series has amazing music. It does really well to kind of set the tone and the overall atmosphere of the environment. Well, the thing about Memempu is that she seems like a child prodigy. She's a genius. She's very smart, a techie. She wants to be a marker. I think that's what it's called. However, her father doesn't want her to be one because she feels that Memempu is too young. Now the mother's out of the picture. They did kill one of the main characters right off the bat in the first episode. I didn't see that coming. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It was kind of shocking. Kind of shocking, actually. what happens is these kaiju come in. Now the CGI is not very good. It's kind of awkward. It's also annoying that other anime YouTubers are focusing on the kaiju when the CGI wasn't even that good. I mean, come on. That's my only complaint, the CGI. But the story is very cute. Mimimpu and Gangumbur, the father-daughter dynamic is executed very well. The first episode is very emotional. Very, very emotional. By the second episode, Gangumbur and Mimimpu have decided to travel together. Now, I feel like the father is going to die, or at least get hurt very, very bad. But he has made it clear that he will be traveling with Mimimpu and helping her as much as he can. Other than that, it's a great series. You know, a lot of people have compared it to Made in Abyss. I have not watched Made in Abyss. It is on my backlog, but this is just it's a very enjoyable show. I mean, I love it. Definitely one of the best that the season has to offer. Do not look up Mimimpu's voice actor, because you will find some interesting things about it. A solid series, very solid series. Now, Platinum End is the next major anime made by the person that wrote Death Note. Yes, Death Note. Think about it for a second. So this series obviously is written very similarly to Death Note, except there is no Death Note. There is just angels and very broken-like powers that make little that. Let me explain. So in this series, you have the main character, Mirai. Is that his name? Yeah, Mirai. He is a boy who his parents died when he was very young. They were actually murdered. He didn't know till the angel told him. He tried to take his own life by jumping off a building. However, an angel saves him, and that would be Saki, possibly. I could be wrong. So Mirai ends up becoming a candidate because in the world of Platinum End, God is going to retire. God is going to throw in the towel and retire, gather his pension. Thus, 13 God candidates have been chosen to replace him. However, the series has decided to put them through a battle royale where the last remaining one will become God. As a result, they have to kill each other off. And Mirai becomes one of the candidates. Once his angel gives him his powers and tells him the story, Mirai ends up finding purpose in life. A reason to live. He wants to be happy. He's trying to follow the advice that his mom told him to be happy. As he watches this spectacle unfold, he finds out about the other people that have these powers. So the 13 that are chosen, they can see each other's angels, which is a giveaway of knowing who to kill. So when Mirai goes to school, he tells his angel to not be around him because it'll give him away. One of them has already died. It was the one that got a little. Here's the thing. The one that died, he was so careless about his powers that, of course, he would be put on the media because he's a low-ranking actor who was getting a bunch of idol girlfriends. A lot of them weren't even made public yet, at all, actually. Because of his carelessness, it was easy to know that he was one of the 13. So this very bizarre character that is this wannabe hero ends up killing him with the white arrow. So there's red arrows, makes person fall in love, do what you say. White arrows, insta-kill, wings. You can fly fast enough to even dodge bullets. Now this anime, despite that it's penned by the same author from Death Note, is not getting very much attention here in the West. because people that read the manga are very disappointed. I have not read the manga. I don't know exactly what it was that happened. I don't want to know. But the manga is apparently so bad, it has resulted in not favorable opinions about this series itself, even though it's only 2 episodes in. I actually enjoy it, but I feel like I'm gonna be in for a train wreck of a series. Because when it comes to Death Note, I don't even want to compare it. Actually, I don't want to compare this to Death Note. I don't think that would be fair. The thing about this series is that if the main character has the power to kill anybody in the blink of an eye, the ability to brainwash people, and the ability to fly faster at the speed of light or faster than that, it just seems so easy. How are they gonna make this climactic? I don't really understand. Now, granted, there's different tiers of angels, which depend on your powers. So not everybody has white arrows. It's just a few. Now, the angel did imply that she doesn't know exactly how many have it. Other than that, though, it does seem interesting. I don't know what kind of fate this series will have, but I do find it very interesting. I think that the fan service on the angel is it's hilarious. How they really focus on the angel under that context. So it's promising, but I don't know where it's gonna go. I see it just, considering how much people are bashing the manga, unless it goes its own way, I don't think it'll do that well. Hopefully I'm wrong. Some ranking. So this one came out very recently. I think it was yesterday. Now this one is another potential anime of the season, maybe even of the year. Now this series is done by which studio? The studio that we all know is about to go bankrupt, unfortunately, despite their amazing work. Right off the bat, you would think it's something from Studio Ghibli. The animation it's beautiful, very very beautiful animation. It is a story of a little prince named Boji. He can't hear, even though I think he can, or maybe he can read lips. He is supposed to be the new prince of the kingdom. However, nobody has faith in him because he tends to do very clumsy things, like sell his clothes to Kage and then come back half naked. He is being trained by a master swordsman who has essentially given up on him. He is looked down upon, made fun of, ridiculed. I mean, I think it was the king that told him that he might not be fit to be the new prince, that his brother or the other candidate might get it, Daida. So you start the series off thinking that, what does Boji have to offer? What can this boy do? And you have Kage, who is what appears to be the last of a group of assassins, because they were all killed off for trying to kill the king. He essentially rips off Boji and takes his clothes, asks for more clothes, and then follows him back to the castle. And he sees that this kid is just seen as a joke. Now, they do introduce a lot of characters. It's like a type of ranking system. You have good swordsmen. You have Bebin, who is not only a swordsman, but he can control snakes. Appias, who I think he's the one that sat on the roof with the stick, which is pretty interesting. Now the queen is very condescending. Domas was the one that trains Boji, but he saw potential in Daida and wanted to teach him things. However, by the end of the episode, I was thinking, how are they gonna pull this off? Boji is so useless. Well, it turns out he actually does have some skill. It's just not recognized. So when Daida, who looks like Geno from Super Mario RPG, goes up against Boji, he loses. Boji dodges all the attacks, hits him in the head with a stick, and defeats him. Now, in accordance to the manga, they pulled parts from all over the place. They specifically wanted to play around the manga to show the part of Boji beating Daida. Now, I do have high hopes for this one. it was very emotional in that you see that there is much more to Boji than meets the eye, and so you feel emotional because you see that Boji is actually very strong, and that despite all the hate that he gets, he doesn't deserve it. There's a big misunderstanding going on there. Yeah, but I have very high hopes for this one. So more love alternative. The first and second episodes feel like two completely different shows. So this is not new. More Love has had different series in the past. This is an alternate take, I think I'm assuming. When episode 1 came out, it just kind of introduced you to what kind of goes on in this type of series. Episode 2 decides to bring back the cast from the other series, and there was a lot of backlash. Over the character designs, the supposed rushing of the episode. It's a mixed bag. Now, I never watched. I know nothing about Love before this. First episode seemed good, but it kind of did a time skip, so nothing that happened in episode 1 matters no more. It was kind of just to introduce you to what happens, the context, the fights. So you have this character who is, I think it's this kid, Takeru, so apparently he went back in time and met all these women that he had known before, but it's a different timeline. And he tries to stop, I guess you could say, the end of the world. I don't know how I feel about this. I think that two episodes in, I can't really have an opinion yet. I think it's a kind of a weak start. I think episode 3 will give me a good idea of what this has to offer. Now in my case, I know nothing about Love, but I will say before I start talking about the series that people were very upset about how they treated the characters that are coming back from the previous series. So it's a mixed bag. This has a horrible ending. I think it was the ending theme is just terrible. There's some really bad wannabe Linkin Park music that plays during one of the battles. The opening I think was pretty bad too. This series is a train wreck, but it does get a lot of attention. Maybe with another 2-3 episodes, I think I'll get a much better handle on this, and I'll be able to really talk about it. But as of now, it's just whatever. It is better than 86, though. It's already better than 86, I would say. Moshiko Tensei, the Yara's reincarnation. I watched the first season. It started off strong. When Eren first got introduced, she was like here we go again, another obligatory tsundere. I didn't really care about her, but her character did develop pretty nicely. And by the end, it was, what was his name? Is this it? They can't be it. Well, it's Rudus, Eren, and then the bald guy. He was the one that carried the end of the first season and made it tolerable. I'm surprised that Roxy has over 5,000 favorites. I mean, not that my anime scores matter at all. I just find that surprising. So season 2 started, right? This series should not be aired anywhere but in Japan for very obvious reasons. I mean, episode 1 was it was cool, it was nostalgic, because I watched the first season. Episode 2 pretty much shows you why people like this series. It's not because of the plot, it's because of the very degenerate things that Rudus does. Even Roxy almost got involved with some very lewd things, but of course she panicked and used her magic abilities. So this series, it really pushes the envelope for the West, not for Japan, because Japan has very different type of legal laws. But in the West, this does push a lot of people the bad way. I think that the anime snob has nailed perfectly the issue with this series in the West. I don't really care much for it. It's an isekai. Isekai in general is just very bad content. I mean, the only thing that was good that was isekai was Sunny Boy. You can technically call it Sunny Boy an isekai, but that is just anime of the year. I put it in my top 10 anime of all time. It's number 10. It replaced Titania. So this series revolves around Rudus, who is a NEET that got hit by a truck and got a second chance at life, being reincarnated into a fantasy world. He keeps his memory, and he uses his innocence to try to exploit little girls. He did that with Sofet. He wants to do it with Roxy. He wants to do it with Eris. He has told Eris already what he wants to do, and she seems kind of fine with it. Really. He meets this empress that has tries to grant him wishes, but she can't do it because she's actually not good at it. And it's like giving him the demon eye, which allows him to see into the future and defeat Eris in a fight. Now, then Hidegami, the CGI, so the CGI guy is hilarious. He has very awkward movements. He's very sporadic and sarcastic and all over the place. He's a very amusing character. Now this series, honestly, I just don't care for it. Honestly, I just don't really care for it. Maybe towards the end it'll get better, but yeah, this is one of those series that people are gonna try to bash it because of how lewd it is. Other than that, music is. I was really impressed by the music. But it's definitely one of the biggest fall season series. So we'll see whether I like it or whether I'll continue to bash it. Always talk about Lupin. Kyoka Senki is another mecha show. It is like another generic, main character wants to be a hero, do the right thing. It's very similar to Code Geass and 86. How Japan is once again under occupation. He is part of a group of kids that are salvaging parts to build their own mecha. So in the series they're called Imaim. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. So Imaim are these new type of robots that are made. That are being used in the war. And Imaim finds this random AI on the floor. I have no idea how he got there, but they become friends, and this AI manages to work on a Imaim that the main character is working on, and manages to make it functional. So Amu. So Guy is like think Pelops from Godzilla SP, or think Matsumoto from DD Freud I Song. That is the kind of role that Guy has, and Guy has zero favorites. So Amao is working on a robot. He has he's a typical tragic past, and he ends up becoming a terrorist by accident. So Amao's on the run. He has this robot. Guy is able to upgrade it, make it better, make it stronger. In the second episode, they try to elaborate on Amao. They try to build you sympathy towards Amao because he's never had a decent home cooked meal, which he had for the first time. Because in episode 2, he gets hungry. He's on the run, so obviously he cannot. It's hard to find food when you're being wanted by the law like that. And he runs into a farm, tries to steal a tomato. He gets caught, and he ends up helping the farmer with his work and whatnot. He's allowed to stay, but he ends up leaving me because he feels he's just going to get them in trouble because he's a wanted man. A fight starts, and by the end of episode 2 is a cliffhanger where other characters witty mimes are also rebelling against the occupation. So the plot is building up. Now it's decent. It feels borderline like a kids show. It's okay. I don't consider it amazing or anything, but it has potential. I gotta see where it goes. Call me. Thank you. So the funny thing about this series is that it's not considered a romance because the manga is dragging out a lot. So the manga, from what I've seen from a lot of people talking about this series, the manga has fallen apart. It is dragging too long, and that is why this is not considered a romance. It is considered a comedy. But this, like I said in my video for it, this has the same problem that that Nagatoro and the Duke of Death have. That is, the gimmick that it has is gonna stop being funny eventually. Yes, Komi can't talk. Yes, she has these awkward scenes. Yes, the animators do all they can to make these scenes look even more awkward with a budget. But the joke is gonna stop being funny, and it already has. I mean, come on. Najimi is also a very disliked character, but I think she's cool. I like Najimi. I think it's a girl. They keep joking around about the gender, but you can see a sort of love triangle going around. But I'm worried that it'll have the same flaws that Nagatoro and the Duke have, which it probably will. I'll give it a chance. So Komi can't talk, but I talked about it on my other videos. I would just direct you to those if you want to see more of my thoughts on it, because there's not really much to say, because it's a very simplistic gag that just gets milked again and again and again and again. Well, I have a lot to go. All right. Heike Monogatari. So this one is, it has a lot of legendary stuff behind it. It's considered historical. It's about an actual really old Japanese tale. It did kind of fall apart in episode 5. I think was that the latest episode? Yeah, I think episode 5 they had a different director do it, and it didn't really come out that well. But it's very good. Easily opening, ending of the season. It does have very good storytelling. Animation, it's from the studio that brought you Ping Pong and Tatami Galaxy. But Biwa looks kind of hideous at times. The animation is questionable at times. It's still good. It could be very fluid and look not so natural, but it's more cartoony. Now the story is beyond me. I can't really talk about it because I'm not familiar with the story it's trying to portray. Now do give me a second. I gotta take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back. Enjoy some Legend of the Galactic Heroes in the meantime. where was I? So yes, this series has the same composer from Ping Pong. But the thing about the music is that, and I've heard this said many times before. I thought the same way about it myself. The music doesn't sound very fitting at times. I still can't tell whether it's being creative or it's just very unfitting. So they're really trying to push the envelope on this series when it comes to the musical direction. And maybe it'll work, I'm not sure. However, they did kill off Shigemori. He's a great character, amazing character. Without him, episode 5 really suffered. So the thing about this series is that episodes 1 through 4 were great. They're telling a great story. They kill him off, and episode 5 it was just not very good. I really hope that it gets better, because this feels like it has potential to be anime of the year. Episodes 6 and 7 will be very decisive for this series. Deep Insanity, The Lost Child. This is another typical hero wants to be a hero because he wants to save the world. This received a lot of hate because the CGI looks like clay animation and it's very bad. The monster is just so terrible. This series is a train wreck. This has to be amongst the worst that the fall season has to offer. Maybe episode 2 could turn it around. But it's awful. It's another like dystopian type of. Well, I think it's in Antarctica. They're in an ice continent, and they've unveiled these type of aliens that are trying to kill humans and whatnot. And they send these people down, and a lot of them are dying. A lot of them get scarred emotionally or permanently. And the main character is all of a sudden able to just do things that nobody else can do, even though he has no experience. And the music, I think, seemed okay, from what I can remember, but yeah, not a lot of high hopes for this one. Build Divide Cold Black. This is on its road to being the next Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a card game anime. The main character, Teruto, his lines are so hilariously over the edge. I just can't help but laugh and not take him seriously. He is trying to beat the king. He meets Sakura, who is another one of the main characters. They do, in their first episode, they get into a card battle, which sort of tells the viewers a bit of the rules, what to expect. Sakura, of course, loses because Teruto has these weird demonic powers. He almost seems like a villain. You know, even though he's the protagonist on a journey, he seems sort of like a villain. Episode 2, they introduce Hiyori, who gets slaughtered by Teruto again, and she begs him to take him under his wing and teach her how to become strong. The card game looks amusing. I think I'm kind of getting the hang of the rules. I gotta see more of it. The music is really good in this one. However, at certain times I can't really understand what they're saying. I mean, at certain times I can't really hear the music. It seems promising. It already has a season 2 confirmed. This has potential to be a very good anime. Even though Teruto he's very cheesy in the way that he speaks, I think that he can become a very likable character, despite how he can be edgy. I mean, I don't think I remember the exact quotes, but some of the things that he says are just so over the top. They're hilarious. But this has potential. The card game, I think, is already selling very well in Japan. It's getting received very well. So this could be the next Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's on its way towards being that way. I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes. No, they're not the best, but this series has a lot of potential. Okay, so the ASMR one. It's trash, 1 out of 10. It's degenerate, lewd ASMR to try to stimulate its viewers. If you're a deranged otaku, you probably like this because it's what otakus want. A cartoon girl to make them feel better about themselves. 3-minute long episodes. It's garbage. Don't even bother. I'm gonna watch it so I can justify my opinion, but don't even bother with that one. 86. Okay, I'm very conflicted about 86. First episode, first half was boring. Second half introduced Frederica, who has one of the worst voice. Let me reword this. Frederica has some of the worst voice acting I have ever heard in anime. It's a shame because her voice actor voiced Pelops 2 in Godzilla SP, and I enjoyed that role. But her voice in here it's screeching. It sounds like screeching. I don't like it. Not only that, the character, when they introduced Frederica in episode 1, she seemed so annoying. So annoying and insufferable and intolerable. I cannot like her character. And then the series did a tonality into eternity, where it tries to turn it around and it's actually all an act. She's actually much more serious. She's much more smarter. She can see the past or whatever it was. By then I don't even care. I don't like her character at all. The screeching in her voice ruins every scene that she's in. Episode 2 was a slice of life. I don't really care about the 86 going around with this slice of life type thing. And at the end, they of course want to go back to war, because all the 86 that have ever known is war. Now, episode 3 kind of shows me that this series is going through a pattern. Alright, so season 1 of 86, first half was terrible, second half was amazing. Season 2 started off weak. Episode 3 seems like a turnaround. Episode 4 I think will probably be good. So 86 I think will be a series that will be plagued by both seasons having a horrible first half and a much better second half. That seems to be what is happening. Episode 3 is very emotional. It's very sad. Shin has to continue his role as Reaper, killing off those that are on the verge of dying. You know, I can feel for Shin. You know, the tragedy behind his purpose, his unfortunate purpose in life. Milizay isn't even there. That's like a big complaint. Okay, so first of all, Milizay ruined the beginning of 86 because she is so politically naive. It's annoying and obnoxious. Right now, she is training some new 86. She tries to be smug, and I could really care less about her. I think that Shin is the one really carrying the show, but he has that drone-like personality. You see way too much in anime regardless. I don't really care much for the characters, but I do have hope that 86 is gonna end strong. I hope it does. You know, I don't mean to bash things that are mainstream. It's just that, like I said in my video beforehand, when you watch anime like Ashura no Joe or Legend of the Galactic Heroes, you will learn how to properly analyze the series. And all these just fall short. They just all fall short. But I really hope that 86 becomes good. I really hope. So episode 4 is gonna be next, and it's turning around. I just really hope that Frederica stops being so obnoxious and so annoying, and that Milizay actually learns her politics. Oh, that's all I got. I think this is everything I'm gonna watch. Since Lupin came out today, that's why I know that it was time to make this video. I was basically waiting for Lupin Part 6 to start. Anyhow, that's what I think. My opinion might change on all of these series as it goes on. This is only the first video. This is Spiritcast number 2. I don't know if I pointed out in the beginning. I will make another one of these when everything is halfway through, or when all the first core are almost done, just so I can catch up. I don't do episodic videos no more because they're a waste of time. So I did talk a lot about episodes that I'm not gonna make videos on in this video. I think I mentioned that in the beginning. But that's all I have. Fall season is actually very promising. Very, very promising. Lots of series are going on. Lots of potential. Gotta see where it goes. Now, thank you for listening. I'll see you again.